All right, we're on. Good evening, everybody. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, Mary Johnson,
Present.
Peggy Kellen,
Here.
Keith Odoms,
Present.
Linda Rappaport,
Here.
Rob Rubin,
Here.
Eddie Schleichauer,
Here.
Jim Spencer,
Here.
and John Lumi is here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the
The
flag
flag
to the
United States of
of the
America,
United States of America
for which it
and to the
stands,
republic for
one
which it
nation,
stands,
under
one
God,
nation,
God,
under
liberty,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Two point oh one Board Vacancy Interviews. Good evening and welcome to the special meeting to interview applicants for the vacancy of the Board of Education. In light of a board member's resignation effective August 18, 2020, the Board of Education developed a timeline to fill a vacancy. In the Central School District, school boards appointment with the appointee serving until May election results are declared. The process implemented to fill a vacancy as approved by the board on October 2020. October 6th, 2021, accept the letters of interest from the community members to serve on the board. Letters of interest were sent to the district clerk. The district clerk advertised vacancy in all appropriate media sources. Evening, November 9th, 2020. The board of education has convened.
John, I don't know if anybody else is having a problem, but you're breaking up on my phone.
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad, John.
Really?
Yes, can't hear you.
Let me go closer then.
No, you're breaking up. Your internet, you keep freezing.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
let's see what happens if it continues away. We'll have somebody else read the questions. And this evening, November 9th, 2020, the Board of Education has convened a special meeting, open session at 6:30 p.m. to interview individuals submitted a letter of interest. How is that? Better?
For me, yeah.
November 9th, 2020, or as soon as deemed appropriate by the Board of Education, the board will, on the appointment, and the district clerk will administer the oath of office and the code of ethics to the appointee. The appointee shall be offered all the powers and duties of a board member upon appointment. The board appointee shall hold office until the annual election members are declared May 20, 2021. There are 4 applicants applied to this vacancy. Let's take a moment to welcome the applicant. Applicant, say hello when it's called. Applicant 1, Stephen R. Soper. Applicant Michael A. McFarland.
Yep, I'm here.
Applicant 3, Jacqueline Kaufman.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here.
Applicant 4, John S. Ogden.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, the answers will be asked a total of 5 questions. The 5 questions were submitted by members of education. Each applicant will respond.
Mr. Lumia, may I
Mr.
suggest
Lumia,
somebody else?
Yeah, breaking up
Somebody else
really
read it?
bad.
Peggy,
Yeah.
Peggy, why don't you have the questions number 1, Peggy?
No, I don't have the revised one.
Marie, you got the revised.
Do you
Marie,
have the,
Yeah, I do.
can you put it on the screen,
Marie, you
Alberta?
got them? Marie?
Well, this way they can see the applicants. It's hard. If we put the questions on the
Okay.
screen, Peggy, they won't see that.
Sorry,
Okay,
Marie, you read the questions. Let me finish the rest, okay?
Yes.
I don't know if you got the moderator will ask the questions and the applicant will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Applicants may ask the moderator to repeat a question. There'll be no follow-up questions from the board or from the applicants. District Clerk Alberto Pedra will serve as the official timekeeper. At the 2-minute mark, the applicant will hear a buzzer. The time has expired. Applicants must stop speaking at that time. Once again, there'll be no follow-up questions. At this time, in respect to each applicant, if you're not being addressed, please mute yourself. Marie, you can take
Okay.
it from here. Question number 1.
Yes, we're going to start with Stephen Soper is going to start it out. I'm going to read the question. I can read it before each applicant gets to answer. And then it'll be Michael, Jacqueline, and then John. The first question is which of your skill sets would you be a valuable addition to the Board of Education to help round out this group of people?
Well, first of all, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all regarding this position. And as far as the question is concerned, my attributes would consist of: 1, I have good organizational skills. Number 2, that I'm a very good public speaker. And number 3, I would say that I'm very goal-oriented in the sense that I like to accomplish things that are the tasks that are being brought out. Regarding my public speaking skills, years ago, as the team president of Bank of America, I'm also a university professor. I am a certified instructor for sales and communication workshops. And I also get up and talk to guests and seminars talking about the economy and the financial markets. My organizational skills, I am a certified financial planner, so I do have analytical skills and I'm very well organized as such.
Okay,
You.
thank you
Marie?
very much. All right, next would be Michael. I can repeat the question for you.
Please.
Okay. Which of your skill sets would be a valuable addition to the Board of Education to help round out this group of people?
Well, again, thank you for the opportunity for this interview. I'm not familiar with the rest of the skills of the board members, so I only can assume how I can help round them out. But I come from a long background as an educator. I bring a lot of construction management skills to the table, and I have over 40 years of experience in construction and education. So these are some of the things I can bring to the table, hopefully rounding out the rest of the skills on the board.
Okay, thank you. Jocelyn, you're next, it looks like.
Yes,
Which-
yes.
Which of your skill sets would be a valuable addition to the Board of Education to help round out the group of people?
Good evening, board members. Again, thank you for taking your time to interview me today. A few of my skills that I find will help round out your board would be my strong communication skills, negotiation skills. I'm very diligent and I can multitask very well. I've been in the financial services industry for over 15 years, and I've structured and negotiated financing deals for most Fortune 500 companies. Also, I'm a mom, so I could multitask very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then finally, John, which of your skill sets would be a valuable addition to the Board of Education to help round out this group of people?
Thank you, Marie, and thank you to everybody in the Board of Education, not only for this opportunity, but also for the service that you're currently providing. I think first and foremost, my previous volunteer board of directors experience, just to highlight one, notably, I served on the board of directors of Abilities First, which runs both a preschool and a school program. On that board, I served as the board president and also chaired the search committee for a new executive director back in 2006. I think just to rattle off a couple, leadership, being a good listener, research and critical thinking are other skills that I bring to the table, as well as passion for the Wappinger Central School District. I'm a graduate, I won't say when to date myself, but I'm a graduate of John Jay and of the school system. I have 3 daughters that currently attend schools, other than going to college, lifelong Dutchess County and Wappinger Central School District resident, and I'd be happy to serve.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to start the next one with Mr. McFarland. And the next question is, if a total remote learning is the safest method of learning for the children, but it negatively impacts home life, would you support total remote learning or would you push for another learning approach?
Well, I'm in agreement with some distance learning, but I believe it has to be a blended type learning, blended approach. Some children that I find, especially in my neighborhood, just can't assimilate to this online training. It seems to be a problem for some students. Other students take very well to it. So I think we need to come up with some sort of blended learning type program.
Okay. Jocelyn Kaufman, the same question. If total remote learning is the safest method of learning of the children, but it negatively impacts the home life, would you support total remote learning or would you push for another learning approach?
Marie,
Yeah,
I just want you to pronounce, I think Jacqueline is how you pronounce her name.
it's Jacqueline? Oh,
It
I'm
is.
sorry.
That's okay.
I was
No,
looking at a different spelling. I'm sorry.
that's okay. It looks like Jocelyn. Don't worry about it at all. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. So I can answer this with firsthand experience. I have a 9-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old at home right now, and working full time. And I see the impacts it has on them. While I'm very grateful that they're home with me and I have the ability to help them and teach them, I also see how hard it is for them. They have amazing teachers, by the way, teachers that go above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that all these children are happy and getting the education that they need. But I also see when they go to school 2 days and they are so excited on Sunday night, they can't even go to bed. So these children, as safe, if the school is consistently, standing next to their standards that they've been doing, the school has been very safe. I've felt, no need to be concerned at all. My children are so happy being in school. I strongly think they need a blended learning strategy. And I'm all for that.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
No problem, Marie.
It looked like an O to me, but that could be me.
I get it all the time. Don't worry.
And now we would go to John. The same question. If a total remote learning is the safest method of learning for the children, but it negatively impacts home life, would you support total remote learning or would you push for another learning approach?
I don't think there can be any doubt that if we are strictly going by a gauge of safety, that in the time of this global pandemic, that remote learning is going to be the absolute safest. That said, and to echo some of what Jacqueline said, I mean, to have a junior high school teenager excited about going to school is noteworthy. And I believe that with the resources of the school district, that some sort of in-person pod or whatever it is, learning can be safely facilitated as long as we're within the state's guidelines. I also think that for students that are not regular ed or honors/AP students, the need for in-person learning is further heightened. And while that doesn't apply to the kids in my home, I think that if I were a board member, I'd be very sensitive to, equality of access to education.
Okay, thank you. And this puts us to Stephen's next, just so I have everybody right. So Stephen, if total remote learning is the safest method of learning for the children, but it negatively impacts home life, would you support total remote learning or would you push for another learning approach?
I would not support total remote learning. I would push for another option. The reason why, and I just got finished taking a class at Columbia University too. It was to be an instructor for the Certified Financial Planning Program. And all the instructors and the doctors agree that there is no substitute for in-person learning. Now, in saying that, we are in a new era, hence the Zoom here. Zoom does work, but in classroom, there is no substitute. And I've been an adjunct professor now for over 10 years, teaching classes live as well as online. My preference by far is being live because you can work with the students, you can help them with problems. It's difficult to do that online. I also have some cousins now they had this dilemma to go to school or stay home, and they all chose to go to private school right now. And growing up in the area, I attended Fishkill Elementary, Myers Corners, Wappingers Junior High, John Jay Dutchess Community College, and then eventually a four-year college. But I know if I stayed home, I would have drove my mother crazy. So it has to be sort of a combination with the preference of, having the live classroom study. And that would be my preference, even as an instructor as well. So I think it's helpful for the student to have the teacher in the classroom, especially if they need sort of extra attention on some subject matter. It's difficult to get that in a Zoom class.
Thank you very much. All right, so moving on to question number 3, we're going to start out with Jacqueline. And your question is, how do you see your role as a board member in relation to the administration, the staff, the faculty, the parents, the students, the general public? If approached, how would you handle an individual request or request from special interest groups?
I see all the teachers and the parents and the students and the administration as partners, right? We're all in this together. We are all here for one reason, and that is the livelihood, the education, and the well-being of our children. So in that regard, I feel like board members need to be open communication, be able to hear people's views and really think critically and strategic about how we implement them. Marie, what was the last part of the question again?
Okay. If approached, how would you handle individual requests or requests from a special interest group?
Okay, special interest groups such as special needs, or can you explain a little further?
I would believe, I'm trying to think who had this question. I believe it's something like
Marie,
Marie,
Oh, okay.
Jacqueline, interpret any which way you want.
I understand. Okay. So obviously sit down with them, have a discussion, try to understand, what their concerns are, who they're advocating for, different ways that I can help them, such as maybe if I'm not the right person to understand the needs of some children that have special needs, bring someone else into the conversation, but make sure that we have all parties involved in the room that can understand what they're looking to accomplish and what their concerns are, and try to address it as best as we can.
Okay. From here, I believe it's John is next. I'm sorry. John, how would you see your role as a board member in relation to the administration, staff, the faculty, the parents, the students, the general public? And if approached, how would you handle the individual requests or requests from special interests?
I think the primary responsibility of a board member is to be a fiduciary of the school district and to act in that role. With regard to administration that reports to the superintendent, other members of the administration and other staff, while the board member's role, I think, is to be supportive and interested, the board's main employee interaction should be with the superintendent, who's the sole person that the school district would supervise, give feedback to, and ultimately hire. So I think that that's important to keep in mind in any board responsibility. While, as I mentioned, previously I've served on boards where I've been the chairman. I think it's also very important to keep in mind, even in that role, that if it's a 9-person board like the Board of Education, that I would be 1/9 of the Board of Education. While certainly I can listen and understand what somebody's concern is, I think it's important that I not make any commitment or try to micromanage a situation, but bring that back to the board and the superintendent, and handle it through proper channels. No matter how much I think that I can help or would want to help, because going back to where I started, I'm serving as a fiduciary of the school district and one member of the board.
Okay, Stephen.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say Jacqueline and John did a good job. I agree what they said. So if using some of my Italian relatives, benedetto, that means well said. And what I agree with mostly is the fact that you have to be a facilitator and work as a team player. So as a fiduciary, working with the students, the staff, the teachers, and the superintendent to make sure the goals and objectives are being met. So when you're working with special interest groups, you got to make sure you understand what their platform and ideologies are about, and that you can compromise and make sure that you're doing what's good for the whole, meaning the whole group. I also have served on many boards in the past, the Cardinal Sheehan Center and the McGivney Center in Bridgeport, the YMCA, and a couple of places as well. And serving on the boards is not an easy task, and everybody has their own wants and wishes, including special interest group, but you have to do what's best for the community, and for the most part, be able to listen clearly and understand what the objectives are, and make sure it's for the good of the whole, and that it's a mutual beneficial solution.
Thank you. And Michael, do you need me to repeat that?
No, I don't. I don't know how I'm going to top that, actually. John, Jacqueline, everybody did an excellent job. The only thing I'd just like to add to that, Stephen, also you did an excellent job. Being a good listener is probably one of the big keys. Understanding what people, sometimes people talk and we don't listen to them. We hear a couple of the words, but we don't really listen. And I think being a good listener is a key role in what any group is trying to, bring across to you. Once you have that information, you can bring it back to the board and sit and discuss it with the rest of the board members. But you shouldn't be taking any action or opinions to that special group. But John, yes, Jacqueline, I think everybody did a great job in summing that up. Thank you.
Okay.
You did
All
well
right,
too,
so-
Michael.
You did
Thank
well
you.
too, yes. All right, so now we're going to start out with John on question number 4. And this question is, what do you see as the primary work of the Board of Education? How do you distinguish between the urgent matters of the primary work of the Board of Education?
Thank you. The primary work of the board is to represent both the people, the taxpayers that elect people that appoint you, and to also assure that educational standards, legal requirements, and in fact law are being met by the school district in a responsible and efficient manner, which kind of sounds like a textbook answer, and I just made that up. But the point is, I think that we need to do all of those things in a way that interacts with the community and effectively communicates not only what we're trying to accomplish, but how we're going about that. I think at this point in time, the most important primary work that the board has to do is to assure a long-term solution in the superintendent's role. And I know there's been some action taken. I am not sure at this point in time what the process has been behind the scenes leading up to this. But I think assuring that there's strong leadership at the top in the superintendent's chair is, I think, the most important thing to do now, and to assure for the long-term success of the school districts at all times.
Thank you. Stephen, do you need me to repeat that question?
No, I'm okay. First of all, I think so far, congratulations, everybody's been less than 2 minutes, so I'm going to try to keep this less than 2 minutes too. This one's a little bit more detailed and robust answer. So I would say we need to promote and foster a high standard of education in the community. So based on my background, as you can see, that I really believe in education, and encourage students to stay in the area by going to colleges, universities, or technical schools in the Dutchess County area. And by having sort of an educated student body, that's also going to promote businesses to come into the area and increase the economic growth. And what I've put together so far is a sort of a 5-point plan that I would use as part of being part of the board. And I'll go over those very quickly. But number one is to promote safe and interactive learning environment. And safety is very important in the school system. And so make sure the students feel comfortable that they can go to class and be safe. Number two is to mandate a zero tolerance for bullying policy. Number three, to encourage students to enroll in extracurricular activities. I play basketball and soccer, whether you do that or some kind of clubs like a glee club, a choir, chess club, whatever it is, then I think that's important. And then ensure that the school provides the necessary tools and resources for the guidance counselors to make sure students receive any type of necessary assistance regarding mental health or guidance. And then lastly, working with the teachers union collectively to make sure that the teachers' pay is equitable, they have good benefits, and to stay within the budget, and also to ensure that the teachers are up to the standards that the Code of Ethics would provide for, and that's excellence in the classroom. Because if kids are going to thrive in the classroom, they have to be interactive and they have to have good teachers. My aunt was a teacher at Arlington. Her students still come up to her and talk to her and love her because she was a good teacher. And that's what we need to continue to have in this school district, is good teachers.
Okay. Next will be Michael. Do you need that repeated?
Please.
Sure. What do you see as the primary work of the Board of Education, and how do you distinguish between the urgent matters and the primary work of the board?
Well, I got to say, I think it's all about the students. Again, like Stephen had said, if we educate the students and we produce a good level of education, and these students move on and graduate, go to college, they can give back into the community. If they give back into the community, we will bring more businesses into the community. A business is not going to come into a community if they have no hiring force, if they have no skilled labor. So we need to make sure that these, and even our BOCES programs need to be promoted so that children that maybe don't want to continue their academic credits can go to a BOCES program and advance themselves. My daughter was one of those children that went to a BOCES program, went on to Culinary Institute, graduated, and does a real fine job now, has a great career. So I think 95% of the role would be, it's all about the students. And if we can make this about the students, I think we'll develop a good program.
Thank you. Jacqueline, do you need that repeated?
No, I think I'm good, Marie. Thank you.
Okay, great.
I think the primary work or role of the Board of Education is to make sure that all students are getting the highest level of education, while also ensuring that all the teachers and staff are safe and they're teaching the proper curriculum. Also up-to-date curriculum, making sure that, they have all of, the necessary certifications behind them to excel our children's education. I also think that we're in a challenging time right now, and I believe that honesty and open communication with the community will help just bring us all together. Having parents as partners is something I also feel very strongly about. We need the help and support from the entire community, especially now more than ever. We also need the support of our teachers, to support our teachers, more than ever during these very challenging times. Because like I said before, my children's teachers have gone above and beyond the call of duty, and they have really done an amazing job. And I think that we all need to just make sure that they know that they'll keep giving that little extra effort, because this is really tough right now. And, I think we all just need to come together and work hard. And, right now it's our children's education and well-being. We have to put that first and foremost, next to being, safe and healthy, of course.
Thank you. All right, Stephen, we're going to go back to you. And this is the last question that I'm going to torture you guys with.
Marie?
Marie,
What is your vision?
Marie?
may I say something?
Sure.
I think if we're volunteer for the last question.
Oh,
They want to
I'm
volunteer for the last question, so that nobody's be the first one to answer.
the way it came up, it showed that question 5 started with Stephen. All right,
No,
so
we only have 4 candidates, so.
Does anybody want to volunteer with the last question?
We're gonna pull names, Alberta?
I know. Anybody want to
Yeah.
volunteer? You can pull
I
names,
think
but
Alberta suggested we get a volunteer, didn't she?
Anybody want to volunteer? John, why don't you answer? He'll be first. Go ahead.
all right.
Can
Well, we have to get the lineup
I
here.
rescind my volunteering if it's a tough question?
It's not a question. Let's just go with John and then just go down to Mr. Soper.
Okay, so
and
let's
Mr.
go with the
McFarland.
same order we just went through then. That's fine. All right, so John, we're going to start with you. Let me write this down so I know what I'm writing. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I switched over to look at a different screen. What is your vision for education in the Wappinger Central School District community?
Well, I think earlier, myself, Jacqueline, Stephen, and Mike have all hit on, I think, what's critical for what the district really has been for most of my lifetime that I've been aware of, and hopefully continues to provide. And that's to meet students where they are and help them be successful both academically and then after school. I liked the points that were made earlier about keeping students at home here in the beautiful Hudson Valley. But from a board standpoint, I think it's supporting administrators, teachers, all staff to create a safe and exceptional environment to allow students to reach their full potential and to be successful, not to repeat myself, but to repeat myself, to be successful both academically and socially within the school environment, and to set them up for future success.
Thank you. So from John, we go to Stephen.
Thank you. So the questions were excellent tonight, so bravo. And when I go to church, I see a teacher that I had in high school. He was my history teacher, and I remember him being, a good teacher, good fond memories. So I think when you grow up in the school district, you want to have good fond memories of your teacher. So we need to, again, promote education in the classroom and combine it with technology. Technology is going to be an important actor in our future, so we need to combine both of them. I would also like to see enhanced type of classroom education classes, which would include personal finance. I teach that class, and people at the college level said, I wish I learned that when I was in high school, personal finance, and bring back workshops, because people don't necessarily need a 4-year college degree, and technical skills are what's needed today. So I would love to see like metal shop workshops and as such get back into the high school level. And then I would say finally, we just have to encourage the parents get more involved in their child's education as well. That's important to have a good family environment for the child and those fond memories of the classroom. And in doing so, then like myself, you'll have good fond memories of this community and where I grew up, Wappinger Falls. So we'd be proud to be part of the Wappinger Falls School District by having good teachers, good student body, good classes, and involvement. I think that was a key word everybody said tonight is get everyone involved in the child's education and make sure that we strive for the benefit of our community. And thanks again.
Thank you. Michael, you're next. Do you need that repeated?
Please.
Sure. What is your vision for education in the Wappinger Central School District community?
Well, right now with COVID, it's very difficult to kind of plot and plan because it's a fluid situation right now. But in times before the COVID, I would love to see, like Stephen said, more advanced shop classes, more hands-on, some blended learning introduced. And again, blended learning, whether it be via Zoom or other ways of doing it. You know, there's a lot of different blended learning methods, but I'd like to see that introduced. I'd like to see the BOCES programs promoted a little more. I think it's important. I think not everybody is going to be a scholar, and I think there's some people that work better with their hands. I'm an educator for adults, and when I start to teach adults and I ask them what's 5/8 of an inch is, and they don't have an answer and they can't show me on a ruler, I'm very disappointed. That's very upsetting to me. I mean, we're talking about, 20, 25-year-old gentlemen that don't know how to read a ruler. It's a little depressing. I think they were taught it probably back in 5th grade, but because they don't utilize it anymore, they lose some of the skills. It's the old story that if you don't use it, you lose it. So a lot of these skills need to be introduced time and time again. So I agree with Stephen. Blended learning, more shop classes, introducing the BOCES program, promoting it more. Like I said, I had a daughter that went through the BOCES program and then went on to do great things with her life. Right now she's a star. She works for Citi Field out of the Culinary Institute. She's doing a great job. All my daughters that graduated through the Wappinger school system are doing a fantastic job right now with their lives. So again, it's all about the students. Let's figure out how to grow the student program. Let's work with the teachers and again, supporting the teachers, very important, So, but like everybody says, we all need to be involved in this. Thank you.
Thank you. Jocelyn, you're next. Do you want me to repeat that for you?
No, I'm good, Marie. Thank you. I think the vision for education right now, I think it's working well, right? We have a great school district. We have wonderful principals, great teachers, but there's always room for improvement. So I think that, if we keep promoting and pushing teacher certifications, that will only help them and our students. I also think that it's important to partner with other districts, right? Just to see what they're doing, what programs they have for the children, what's working, what's not working. I think that's very important. As a mom, I talk to all my friends that, they go to Arlington or Westchester schools, and there are differences, right? But if we can form some type of committee where we could meet with them and understand what they're doing and maybe implement that in our school district, it will only help us. Also, just keep trying to improve remote education, right? With the technology, educating the teachers more with the technology and seeking out other forms of technology that will help, with learning remotely. Again, like, Stephen, John, and Michael and myself has said, involving parents, it is the backbone, right? You need their involvement. If there are workshops for teachers that can help them, get parents involved, anything that, teachers can do, or principals, and even us as the Board of Ed, right? If they look to the Board of Education and see, wow, look at their communication skills, look what they're doing. They're asking for parent involvement like you all do, but just keep pushing it out there. I think that more parents will start to, come on board a little bit more, especially now more than ever. BOCES, like Michael said, I can't say more good things about BOCES. Listen, I went through, I studied finance, I worked on Wall Street. I always told the colleagues of mine, I'm like, just have your son, you learn a skill. It's so important. They can do so well, so that, and I came from, my dad was a mechanic. So I see how hard he's worked, but he always had a job, and he always, he had this skill that he can always fall back on, which, not a lot of people in this day and age have. So BOCES is extremely important.
Okay, time's up, Jack.
Oh, sorry. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank
John?
you, all the applicants. I really appreciate you trying out for this particular position. I really thank you very much. The interview process has concluded. We will continue with agenda item 3.01, proposed executive session. And I'll read it. Whereas the Board of Education seems to seek adjournment from executive session to full compliance with open meetings law. Whereas the open meetings law provides that a public body may exclude the public forum the portion of the meeting in which it is discussed matters pertaining to specific personnel, negotiations, or litigation not be resolved. The Board of Education adjourned executive session to discuss matters of personnel, specifically the applicants for board members to fill the vacancy. Once again, thank you. You will hear from us.
So moved, John.
Yeah.
So moved, John.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you all so much. I know this isn't easy.
Great job.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Everyone.